Are you Reze from Chainsaw Man? Like, is that who you are? Well, I hope so, because if so, today's Japanese slang term of jinin Reze is perfect for you, because this is a term which literally means something like self-recognition as Reze. So, I'm going to do a mediocre job in this video, great way to start, because I am not up to date with Chainsaw Man. I've seen the first season, but I haven't seen the movie. But basically, simply put, this is Reze. They are a character in Chainsaw Man. And so in posts like this, where an artist draws a picture of Reze and somebody says at the bottom, "Thank you for drawing a picture of me," and then the artist refers to this person as a jinin Reze, you can see a literal interpretation of this idea. But while it's simple enough to say that this term is used to refer to people who think they are Reze, there aren't that many people who actually think they are a character from a comic. Rather, the term refers to two sorts of behaviors. The first is people who dress like or look like Reze in some way. For instance, in the video I'm about to show you, there's an influencer who was critiqued in comments for being a jinin Reze, so it can be a negative term. And in her response, she notes first off what's the problem with that, but also attributes the entire thing to her hairstyle rather than any kind of behavior.
自認レゼって何？あまりにも自認レゼっていうコメントが多かったので調べてみました。いろんな意味合いがあるみたいなんだけど、多分私のこの髪型がチェーンソーマンのレゼと似てるからそういう風に捉えられたのかなっていう感じなんだけど。
Likewise, this screenshot you're seeing comes from I guess it's a comedy video. I didn't laugh when I watched it, but like 700,000 people did, so that's fine. But at the beginning of it, the character who is dressed like a woman goes to see the Chainsaw Man movie, and afterwards they realize, oh hey, I could do my hair like that and dress like that, and in doing so they refer to themselves as a jinin Reze. So again, there's the start there of the appearance, people that are adopting that kind of fashion style. As the video goes on, this character ends up annoying a bunch of people, and here's where my limits as a video creator go, because again, I don't know if Reze is like an annoying character, and in the video they are quite annoying, but minimally we start from appearance. On the other hand, though, there are definitely people that are using jinin Reze to refer to themselves as like being someone who behaves like Reze. So for instance, in the image you're looking at now, someone jokes that they have made a perpetual motion machine by plugging their battery into itself and refer to themselves as a jinin Denji. So they're identifying as the main character of Chainsaw Man. The person replying to this says that no, it's not a jinin Denji, but a jinin Reze. So in other words, you're not acting like Denji, you're acting like Reze. I don't know why one of these characters is more likely to plug a battery into itself than somebody else, but plugging a battery into itself is a behavior, not an appearance. Additionally, one behavior that Reze absolutely does quite a bit is stick their tongue out, and it is very easy to find people sticking their tongue out and calling themselves jinin Reze, or with their dogs sticking their tongue out and saying that their dogs identify as Reze. So if you have adopted Reze's fashion, or if you behave like Reze, whatever that means, you can use jinin Reze to refer to yourself, or to refer to other people that are doing that. So how long has this term been in use though? Well, despite that Reze made her first appearance in the manga in 2019, jinin Reze is fairly recent. However, it's actually earlier than I expected, because I assumed that all of this would have been spawned by the Chainsaw Man movie, which came out in September of 2025. But I can find uses of jinin Reze going back to April of 2025. Now, the earliest trailer for this movie came out in late 2024, so perhaps it is influenced by the trailer, but then exploded, of course, due to the movie, as if you check Google Trends, the release date of the movie is the first time it shows any interest in jinin Reze as a phrase. More importantly, though, this jinin proper noun thing did not start with this character. For instance, here's a person in early 2024 referring to themselves as jinin Ferid, which is Fern from Freeland, because they want to marry the character Stark. How old is this jinin person phrase though? That's honestly not possible to tell you, because jinin is just a noun, and I'm not willing to go through the entire history of the Japanese internet looking at uses of jinin until I find the first one that has a character name on it. But I did pop some major character names on there, and while surprisingly jinin Mario did not appear until 2025, I did find a use of jinin Ruffy from One Piece going back to 2022, but it was extremely sexually explicit, so I'm going to show you this one from 2023 instead. And if you go onto Google Trends and just type jinin in there, there is a bit of a spike that is coming in late 2022. So it is quite possible that this is sort of a thing that has taken off in the last 5 years or so. I'm not going to state that as a 100% fact, but I feel fairly confident on it. Indeed, this entire phenomenon of like identifying with a character has its own name, and that is, or literally, psychological projection. In real Japanese, whatever that is, this is used for like when you project things about yourself on another person and treating aspects of yourself you don't want to recognize as existing in another person or group. It's a thing. Like there's whole, English articles on it and stuff. But in the otaku verse, in the Japanese slang netspeak verse, this is instead used for this process of identifying with a character, or even seeing that character as like a version of yourself. There's a whole Pixiv page on it if you want to read, but in this example here, you can see somebody using it to note that they went to a concert for the band Tokyo Denno, and while at the concert, they jikotoed to the singer/character Neru Neru Neru. And this does not mean that they, attributed their own faults to them and blamed them for it, but rather they kind of felt that they identified with that character at the concert. Similarly, in a very simple example, this person uses the phrase to note that the character in the game that they're developing is one you can kind of project yourself onto. Although in closing, I should note that some people view this whole process as something that's kind of negative or cringe. Like this person here very mockingly, sarcastically refers to the patriot Kaiwai as people that often project themselves onto an image of a young girl with black hair, as you can see in the various examples. So there you go, that's what these terms mean. And I think that's enough of me doing jikotoe as somebody that can explain Japanese slang to you, because I would like to instead jikotoe as somebody who is going home.